being able to, again, like just showcase the stories of our borderland to a wider audience and to have people resonate with it. I think that is just a great thing to do. Like I won't take any credit. I think it's the city that's just speaking through, like the camera. I think that's the credit I want to give.
Hello guys, welcome to Sun City SITREP. Right now we have special guests with us. Yes, again, we have Jasmine Powers. You might remember her from the last interview with Abe Bueno, but today we have another special guest. We have here with us Christian Iglesias, otherwise known as Christian Churches, the most famous videographer. I'm sorry to brag, the most famous videographer from El Paso, Texas.
If y'all say so.
Yes.
So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh no,
Appreciate being on.
it's a pleasure and welcome. I am glad that you're back again.
No, I'm super glad. We're interviewing such great talent. I've seen your photos all over the city, and the consistency there is incredible. So
Really
congrats.
incredible. I totally agree with her.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Right? Just to go out and try to make stuff every day. That's the name of the game.
Oh yeah, can you tell us a little bit about your story, how you started, got into photography and all that?
Yeah, so I guess it really started in high school, like most of us, I feel. Was in newspaper, picked up a camera, shot sports, shot stories, went to college. I went to college for journalism, multimedia journalism,
At UTEP?
NMSU.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, New Mexico
You're
State. Yeah.
Aggie?
Aggie, yeah.
There you
Yes,
go.
sir. I don't know if that's a proper fist. I didn't graduate. I dropped out because of the pandemic. So
It doesn't
it's
matter.
like I guess
You went.
Aggie at heart, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. So I went to school for journalism. Of course, with the pandemic,
Yeah.
it all kind of went kaput. And then, yeah, you have to work and you have to do stuff. So picked up photography for some nonprofits and videography once the trend got there for social media, and here we are.
Yeah, when did you start noticing that people are appreciating my work? It seemed like you've always been dedicated, but then the wave of the audience was on by.
I don't want to say it's my work. I want to say that people are appreciating the city.
Oh.
I think I'm helping showcase it through my camera. That would have to be like around 2022, 2023. There's a lot of very like nice nature-based events that happen in our city. Of course, like during the pandemic, we got like monsoon season was beautiful, so our mountains lit up green. And then in 2022, we got, I think, our first freeze in the wild, so we had really nice snow coverage on the Franklins and around the city. And I just made myself available to capture that. And I think those posts really popped off on my page. And of course, my collaborations with FitFam. But it's all centered around promoting and showcasing the city.
So you say you want to showcase the city, and I totally agree. El Paso is beautiful.
It is.
I agree. But what is it, the thing that caught your eye? Like, what's the one thing? Because, I mean, you started really young.
Yeah,
And when it comes to photography, I'm sure we all agree, there's a lot of ways that you can go.
for sure.
Yes.
So what's the one thing that you just saw, maybe from El Paso or from someone else, that you were like, you know what? People don't appreciate El Paso enough. Like, I want to be the guy that comes front and it's like, puts El Paso up front.
I think what caught my attention was the storytelling aspect. This city, for it being very different than it was a decade ago, it's still very much the same. And I've heard stories like my parents, they grew up in Juarez and Chihuahua, and like the same thing with Juarez, like you can walk by a building that's been there since the 50s, and it's the same facade, the same look, it's a little beat up, but it's still the same, And same here with El Paso. You can go to Sunset Heights, you can go to Central. It's a lot of the same exterior that people in our shoes 50 years ago would have been walking past, driving through. And I think that's a beautiful thing, like it's the city has a story to tell. And we're all a part of that story, and I think that's super cool.
Yeah,
and I think just being available to capture it,
Oh, I think that's incredible because you're capturing El Paso. You're starting to do trips here and there, but your focus is the city.
Yeah.
So what would the advice be to the creatives in this city? Any advice for the other photographers, other aspiring actors, the talent pool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would tell anybody watching, El Paso's a very giving city. There's a lot of things happening, despite the fact that a lot of people want to say there's nothing happening here. There's sunsets every night that are beautiful. There's people here that are amazing. Just make yourself available for the moment and make yourself available to capture or do whatever type of art that you want to do here. Once you do, you'll reap all that back.
Yeah.
I like the making yourself available advice. That's really good. Because I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not available once the option gets available, I mean, you might just miss your train.
Exactly.
And once talent meets opportunity, that's when you get your big shot, essentially.
And then especially in today's world where it's all about you want things overnight, you want it very quickly. You know, you look on TikTok and you can see an 18-year-old millionaire off of one viral video, right? Or like a family going to Costco and they say a fun little catchphrase and now they're, you know, like
It shoots
viral. Yeah,
Yes.
it's people crave that.
Instant success.
Yeah, instant success. And I think the very easy cheat code in life is consistency and hard work, you know? Like that's it.
I totally agree. And I think that's one of the things that I also have liked about like moving a little bit out of your photography, but still your work, about your videos. Because you literally show like time lapses that literally show just how beautiful this city goes throughout the course of time. And honestly, I cannot imagine how many hours you have spent like just recording the city. Because like those time lapses that you do, even though it might be like 5 minutes, I'm sure it took you like several hours.
Oh yeah, for a good time lapse, especially I love day to night, and that's posting up at one position around 5 p.m. like before sundown, during sundown, blue hour, and then during nighttime, right? So that's like a 3.5 hour like process. I like it. It's very calming for me. You know, like I can very like much relax. I think with a lot of our, you know, like age range, like people in our generation, they can't sit still
and relax.
and that's where you're forced to, you know, and those are the moments where I can look around my surroundings. Like if I'm at Scenic Drive and looking around, like there's a bunch of families, a bunch of couples, you know, like taking in the view of the city that you're capturing, and it just brings things into perspective. Or I've done a really nice sunset time lapse on Cotton Street with the star.
Yeah.
And
I've seen that one.
And again, like same thing, like people walking by, you know, everyone like with their own individual story, and you can just kind of, if you hyper focus on somebody at that moment, you know, not like stalking wise, right? But you can see their walking path. You can kind of like read through, like, okay, this is the type of clothing they wear. This is probably where they're headed. You know, you can make a lot of assumptions, not negative assumptions, but just like, oh, like this is another person living here, and just like I'm here at 6 p.m. On Cotton getting a time lapse, they're there, going about their day, probably wrapping up their day, going to see their family. You know, like I just think that's a cool thing.
That's
you know?
actually quite beautiful. Like we're observing what you capture in the lens, but you're observing everyone else too. And you're actually present in that life.
And I think, that's amazing. It actually reminded me of, I just flew away from my mind, but recently a movie came out that literally just was like pretty much one shots of like a stationary camera throughout the house.
Yes,
I don't know
Tom
if you saw
Hanks,
it.
right?
Yeah, with Tom Hanks. And it's just the course of the house. Pretty much the house is the main character. And you see the family like growing up, they moving out, the new family coming in, and it, just like the story of that. And those are essentially your time lapses as well, like because like the way you're discussing, like there's stories happening all over, and it's just like you just get to like expectate all of it.
Exactly, and that's where making yourself available really comes into hand, you know, because there's again, like it's a giving city. There's so much happening. Even where you think nothing is happening, like there's a lot happening. And if you make yourself present, and if you just hit record or take a photo, you'll capture some magic.
How do you stay so present at such a young age? Like you're 25, and I feel like most of us 20-year-olds, people in their 20s, are consumed with TikTok, with Instagram, and you're out here consistently just throwing that all away and just sitting down for hours, like, and being present. How do you do that? Like, what habits do you have? Anything like that?
I think life experience, you know, like we all go through certain stuff in our life that's very like pivotal.
Yep.
And I went through a lot of stuff young that I won't divulge, but it made me gain a lot of perspective for the today, you know, like really appreciating the day for the day, you know, and the week for the week, because you don't know what's going to happen. You know, like today could be an amazing day, and tomorrow you can get the worst news of your life, you know? So really appreciating the time you have for that, you know, and the environment you're in for that.
At 25, whoa, that's a mindset.
Yeah, and it's gonna get you far.
Yeah.
Hopefully, right?
Well, it
see-
seems like you're
see.
grateful
Yes.
too. Having a grateful mindset will always, like, we're always looking at your page, at you as a figure, but you're just, this sounds like a journey for you, like a lifelong journey of always being immersed in your content, in your videography, photography. Sometimes you forget that, like, oh, this person loves what they do, and you have to be extremely present to do what you do.
Yeah.
And you can tell by your work, honestly.
Thank
It's
you.
like you said, we see your page and we see like you as a public figure, you know,
Yes.
an artist. But you're like, I don't want to. I mean, like you said, like this was originally gonna be your shirt, but you didn't want it to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I respect that, like the humbleness, the gracefulness. I think those are really big qualities that some artists like slack on, but they're like important, not just an artist, but like any human.
Yeah.
That I honestly commend you, man.
Thank you.
For
Thank
having
you.
those. But like, we see you as this public figure, and you're like, no, I want the art, or like you said, I want the city to speak for itself, and the
And-
stories.
And I would say I think every artist has their end goal, right? We all have something that we want to achieve. And I think where my life became very simple, my life as an artist or photographer, videographer, creative, is I was able to pinpoint that my only goal in this lifetime, and it's going to sound very artistic and very like, some
Okay.
people are going to be like, you know, like get out
Okay.
of here. I just
Okay.
want to make something that will be remembered when I'm gone. I don't want to be remembered, but I want to make a piece of art that will resonate with people that 50, 80, 100 years after I'm dead and gone, people can look at that and they can feel something.
Oh,
Like
wow.
that's my only goal.
I think you've already done it.
Yeah, I think I've already done it. I mean, I've seen multiple works of you that I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is just wow.
That's incredible. You said in high school you started.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you, like, tell us a story when you picked up your first camera, or like was there someone who inspired you to do it?
Yeah, so I think like I say a lot of us, but I've brought this story up before and people are like, who is that? And I'm like, boss, I don't know anymore. I'm a huge Casey Neistat fan.
Oh,
Okay.
And I think
nice.
his consistency, he had like a daily vlog from like that ran from 2014 to 2017. And that consistency and that drive while he was busy running his own company, I thought was really, really cool. So I gravitated towards that. Like I'd watch it every morning in my first period class when I went to Eastwood, like religiously. And then of course I had my newspaper teacher who was the golf coach, and he was very, very gracious to me in the sense of like I couldn't afford my own gear.
Yeah.
My parents, they're like, photography, like focus on like getting a scholarship, you know, like most high school
Yes.
parents, you know. So he allowed me to check out gear
Oh, nice.
from the school and to take it home and like just explore. And I did that every weekend. My junior and senior year, I just took the gear and I went out, and it was a Canon Rebel T3i and a 70-200 lens. It was a very
Nice.
basic setup. Well,
Yeah.
except for like the telephoto, right? But
Yeah.
camera wise, it's a very like okay camera, very beginner camera.
But that's a lot of trust. For
Yeah,
a
it's a lot of
teacher.
trust.
Yeah, no,
And
it is.
This was back on 2018, 17, around there?
Around 2017, like 2016, 17.
Okay, so yeah, you were working already with a pretty good camera
Yeah.
for,
For
yeah.
a kid. Yeah, that's a lot of trust for an adult to see that
Yeah.
in a child. Like you're a teenager, okay, you're a young adult, but you're young.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
I think I owe that guy a lot, you know, because if he didn't trust me with that, I don't think I would have fallen in love with photography the way that I did, you know?
Right. Wow.
Well, shout out to your
Yeah.
newspaper.
John Stovall, retired Eastwood golf coach and newspaper teacher.
Yes.
Shout out to you.
Building
Yes.
public figures.
Thank you. You built a really great artist.
Yeah.
Well, help build.
Yeah. And I know he's
Yeah.
built great people along the way. So
Yeah.
educators are important.
Oh, most likely.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's incredible. Are there any future goals of yours that you're working towards that you can disclose, or trying to keep it?
Yeah.
Are you
Are
the
you
type of
gonna
person that
keep
keeps
us
it?
on secret? Like,
That's the thing. Like, there's no secrets, and it's very boring. But like what I had pointed out earlier with like my goal, that's it. Like I just go like day by day, kind of like with that goal in mind.
so going with that goal, I'm curious because like, I know that many of the artists that are like, oh, I want to create my magnus opus,
Yeah.
But then I'm always curious. 'Cause I'm like, when do you know that you actually did it already? You know?
I don't think that. I think that's the fun part. You never know, because there's always more. There's always something better you could do. You know,
Mhm.
there's always like if you take a nice sunset today, there's a better one tomorrow. You know, as long as you
Yes.
chase that, like it's endless. You know, and it's not for the artist to judge.
Mhm.
Like it's not our goal to be like, okay, I did it. Like I made something that like, oh, heck yeah, this is resonating with people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang up the hat and call it quits. I don't think it's my job. I think it's the job of people that are appreciating the art, you know, to let me know, or if they do, like I could pass tomorrow and people like the
Oh.
page, you know, like I've done my job. Like you guys just said
Yeah.
it, you know, I've made work that
Yes.
resonates with people. So I mean, like,
Do you ever get okay? Do you ever get burnt out? I hate to say it because we were talking such like positively,
Mhm.
but I feel like when you're working that hard,
Yeah.
Yeah. And
What
mostly
do
when
you
you
do?
have that goal in mind, like it's a constant work. Like, all right, I did a great job. On to the next.
Yeah.
yeah. What do you do to like appreciate your work and just decompress? Like, how do you manage it all?
I work.
Oh,
Do you
feel
take a
like-
break by working?
Yeah,
What?
but I work on stuff.
I actually get that. Yes.
I work. I work for my like on stuff for me.
okay.
Like
Mhm.
if I have like any project that I want to focus in on, like this past weekend or the weekend prior, I went down to Tempe and I filmed around 3 commercials for a really nice
Oh.
brand, locally based, and it was a busy trip. You know, we didn't have any like really much time to do
To
things. You know,
relax.
for ourselves. It was a great shoot, great worked with great people. But I got back home and I was really tired.
Yeah.
But I know I had stuff that I wanted to put out for myself.
Mhm.
So I did that. Like, I took out the drone and I went for a night drive and I flew it around like midnight. And then I stayed up for a sunrise time lapse. You know, like,
So
and
you love
that's
what you
relaxing
do.
for me. Like that's rejuvenating for me. You know, like that's I consider that rest.
Mhm.
So your work is rest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't put it work because I see his mindset as an artist because like
Yeah.
his work is like, for example, the gigs, right?
Yeah.
But like when it's your personal work, like your aspirations, it's more of a passion project.
Yeah.
So like you don't feel it as work at all.
You
Yeah.
don't. It's enjoyment at that point, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fully immersed.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I mean, I do sleep sometimes, you know.
Yeah,
but
I was like, when do you
I mean,
sleep?
I
The
hope
time
I hope
lapse?
you
Yeah.
do. Yes.
I don't like sleeping
You
in
also
anymore.
eat, right? You
I
make
do
sure
eat,
to eat
yeah,
your
I
meals.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, a pretty sane human.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I will say too, like when I need rest or I need to like a day, like a what's
To
it called that
breathe.
people like a self help day
A
or
self-care day.
self-care day,
Self-care
right?
day,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
I love going to the movies.
Okay.
I'm a huge movie guy, you know, like I have the
Mm-hmm.
season pass for Alamo, so
I have to.
Yeah,
Yes.
heck
It's
yeah.
the best thing that I ever paid.
yeah,
Honestly,
it's so worth it.
it's so worth
I
it.
think one of my favorite weeks was last month, and I
Okay.
literally went to the movies every single day. They did a bunch of
Okay.
re-releases of old movies, and I was there.
There's
What
time
movies?
capsules.
Time capsules, yeah.
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 It's
Did you
so
see
cool.
it?
Not exactly the one that he's talking about, but yeah,
Okay.
the Alamo has like time capsules.
Mhm.
Okay.
Like let's say for this month,
Mhm.
they're gonna do everything from 1978.
Yeah,
Oh.
So all the movies that like were real hitters on 1978, they
They
released
replay
them.
it. Are there any directors or any movies that inspire you? Or
Oh yeah.
I think one of my favorite movies was movie experience and movie general was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood by Quentin Tarantino.
okay, yeah.
I saw that in
Nice.
theaters when it came out in 2019, and I think I've never heard the theater so loud for like an ending of a film, especially when the majority of the film's very calm, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't want to spoil it, but like stuff pops off at the end,
Have you
right?
seen
And
it?
like,
I haven't seen
You
it.
haven't
Have
seen
you
it?
Okay,
seen
then
it?
don't spoil
Yeah,
it.
I won't.
Yeah, don't spoil
I'll
it
watch
for
it
her.
right after this.
All right.
But
We're
The-
gonna
well-
take a break actually, guys.
Yes.
And Jasmine's gonna go see the movie.
Yes. Okay. Have you seen it?
Oh yes, I've seen it.
So was it good?
Oh, it is really good.
Do
I
we
do suggest it.
recommend?
Yes.
Okay. So like you liked it because of the twist at the end, or you
It's
like
just
how it
an
was
overall
shot?
good movie.
it's an overall good movie. I think
Okay.
the reason why I like it, and I like films based in the 60s and 70s,
Yeah.
is because you can really have a taste for that, like, life, you know, what life was
Yeah.
like. And Quentin Tarantino, he was very publicly saying that this is like a love letter to old Hollywood,
Oh.
you know, and you really saw it through the film. And it's stuff that, like, I originally am from California, so
Okay.
have memories of going to like LA when I was a kid, and being able to see different sides of it with that 70s 60s twist,
Yeah.
and just again having that taste of what life was like back then. I thought was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. I think there's been a lot of love letters to Hollywood lately. Now that I
Yeah.
think about it, like we have La La Land, we have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, we have Babylon.
Babylon was a great movie.
Yeah, there's been a lot of
Yeah.
love letters to Hollywood lately.
Which is the unironic thing because it feels like everything's moving outside of Hollywood.
I was gonna say that.
It is probably that's why they're doing it.
Yeah.
Just to remember the good old times.
Yeah.
Because you've traveled to Austin, you go to different cities, you've been to
Yeah.
New York too.
Yeah.
What's that? What are those experiences like? And what do you think you notice when you come back to El Paso? Like the differences?
I
positive-
think those experiences at bigger cities,
Okay.
it puts yourself in perspective of the fun fact of life. That again, we're just like a small cog in the wheel of a grander, like thing. And what I take from trips like that is that, and it's gonna sound very harsh, and a lot of artists have said this, and I really agree. And this is like no negative
no.
connotation, but like nobody cares about you.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
Like-
That's
okay.
good. Okay.
I thought it was gonna go somewhere
I ain't
else.
gonna cuss or anything on the show, right?
Oh, like-
Like the term goes a little differently, right? But like the gist is like nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
you think so much about your art, you're so critical about what other people's opinions are. End of the day, nobody cares. So just make something that you care about and go about your day.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the best art is made. Like, the minute you stop making things for other folks, and you just kind of zone back and like, okay, is this something I'm proud of? Is this something that I really enjoy? And when you go to a bigger city like New York, oh man, it's like the most loneliest city in the world,
Is it?
but also the most packed because literally you're around like millions of people, and you're around like hundreds of them in the subway, and they could give a crap about you. They're there. They're like looking down. They're going point A, point B. They have their own agenda. Like if there's a loud noise, like there's a fire when I was there, nobody batted an eye. Like
Wow.
it's that type of vibe. And I kind of like, yeah, it's nice to. Some people will get in their feels and they're like they'll get sad about it.
I'm
but,
really sensitive. I think I'd be hurt. Yeah.
but
I'd be
I
like,
found it
you
refreshing.
enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because it's like you're actively blocking the noise to pursue your own career, and then you go to a city where they're all actively doing
Yeah.
that. Oh, what about Austin? What was your experience in Austin and your trips there?
I think Austin for me, which is people dislike the new Austin
Okay.
because of this. But again, being like a kid from California, it's the new LA. Like
Okay.
you have a lot of tech. It's like LA, Silicon Valley. You have a lot of new tech out there, a lot of
Okay.
construction. Like you have a lot of people out there in general.
Yeah.
And I was unfortunate enough to not be able to see old Austin, which apparently had its really nice charm and a lot of people loved.
Yeah.
But I see like Austin as like a new LA, and I like LA, so I don't mind Austin. But I know a lot of
Yeah.
people that they hate LA, so they're moving out, right? And they're
Yeah,
trying to
they
find other
are.
parts of Texas that give that old Austin feel.
100%.
Yes, pretty much. And
Good.
talking about your experiences out of
Yeah.
the city, what are the experiences when you come back to El Paso? But like talking outside of your photography and
Yeah.
visuals, like talking about the community,
Yeah.
your experiences, does it change this?
It does. It makes me appreciate El Paso more.
Okay.
And I've had a lot of folks, this conversation with a lot of people that they lived here and they hated it and they left. And they always, like, they'll look at the page and they'll see a photo that they like and they're like, oh man, like, I took it for granted. Like, I didn't appreciate it when I had it. And I think that's El Paso. Like, it's a city that's, its growth has been stunted. It's not growing as quick as it needs to, but it's still very much has the charm that it had like 50 years ago. Like it's a great place to raise a family, very safe, culturally filled, and has some of the nicest people that I have met ever in like
I
this
think
planet.
so.
Like, and I've been around the block, and El Paso still has some of the worst drivers, but the nicest
they
people.
do.
Yeah.
You guys spoke about that
That we
previously.
do. Yes, that we do. But
Oh yeah.
I agree. We have the nicest people, some of the nicest people, as
Yeah.
long as they're not behind the wheel.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was really happy. I live like a few blocks away, so I'm like, I didn't have to take the 10 today. I didn't have to get upset, right?
You're like driving with your camera gear all scared that like something's going to happen. You're like, no, drive safe.
I feel like you should just set up your camera gear next to you and have it
know.
recording all the time, just in case.
That'll be the next page. It's just him driving the cinematic shots.
I know.
Yeah, the chaotic drivers.
You'll see.
You should have chaotic
Yeah.
drivers, like a series
That'd
of
be
chaotic
fun,
drivers.
man.
That'd be
really
fun.
You wouldn't want to hear my commentary in the car though. Like
No?
it's pretty. Yeah.
It's okay. You can just put we'll just put some vibe songs, you know,
Oh, there you
like
go.
Some lo-fi.
some
in the back.
lo-fi
That's
in the
some lo-fi,
background.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when you're doing 40 in the far left lane, like I mean, I got some things to say, right? You know.
Churches isn't so classy.
No, but yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
what coming back to El Paso, you appreciate the calm, and you appreciate the
Yeah.
culture, and it's unique to any other city in the world.
Yeah, we've talked about culture, your travels, but we are a community that focuses on family. We're very family oriented. Can you talk a little bit about yours and how they shaped you to the person you are?
Yeah. So I won't
Yeah.
again like
You're like, oh, no.
I won't dive too deep.
Okay.
But I do have like a mother, a sister, and a brother, and
Okay.
I'm the youngest of three,
Oh,
Okay.
and
okay.
they were very like tough love, you know, but also very supportive. And I think if I hadn't had their support when I was around 20, 21, and I decided to go full in on content creation, I wouldn't be here for sure.
Wow.
I'd probably be doing some like desk job, you know, something safer. I think they really helped instill in me that like don't go the safe route, like bet on yourself. And
I'm
that
really
was
glad.
very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. Because I feel bad for like those people that are like try to pursue the artistic route,
Yeah.
which we know where it leads to.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
it's a rough
It is,
route.
man. It is, especially when you have negative noise around you.
Yes.
Mhm.
Especially
Yes.
negative noise that you value, you know, like family, friends. Like you should be, I mean, I understand being realistic with oneself and being realistic with the people you care about. But at
Yep.
the end of the day, I think having a really good support system is key to anything in life.
Yeah, because I think you seek guidance from the people who love you most.
Yeah.
No matter
Yes.
what age you're at. So having to convince people, especially with content, it's hard. You're convincing an older generation, hey, I'm gonna like take some videos and photos and make this my livelihood.
Uh-huh.
And it's
Yes.
such a hard thing to convince. Like
It
I've-
is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've had to do that. So, but you're actually a professional doing it. Did you ever see their mindset shift or they get excited for you? Like, hey, like I noticed this. And you're
Yeah.
like, well, guys, I've been telling you I wanted to do this.
I saw it
You know?
in my mom. So I came out with a photo book last year.
Wow.
It's a 50-page photo book of my favorite photos, I like landscape-wise, I took
Yeah.
in the city over the past 2 years. And I think being able to have like a physical copy of work I've done
Yeah.
in her hands, especially as older generations, they understand social media, but really like the Facebook side of things, you know, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that like Latina mom like memes and stuff, you know, like they don't
Yes.
really
Yeah.
understand the metrics and stuff. But I think being able to have something that I
book.
created physically,
Mhm.
I could see it shift in her. That was she was like,
Wow.
oh, like okay, like you're doing stuff, you know, like and that's
Mhm.
cool. And she's again very loving, very supportive about it.
Well, that's awesome that you have that or that you were able to be honest with them and say, like, I'm committed to this. you
Yeah.
know?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that you have your full on support of your family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's more support like from outside of the family circle.
Oh no, definitely. I'm very, very
Yeah.
blessed to have a lot of support, a lot more support than I ever would have envisioned I'd have. But I think family is for me is very, especially like I've been at the place where I've lost family, I've gained family in
Right.
you know, like the nonsensical way. So I hold it tight, you know, like the fact that you still have people around that share the last name that
Yeah.
support you.
How do you, you're saying you're blocking the noise, right? But sometimes you have, well, in the past, but like sometimes you have to block the noise of extreme positivity to like
Yeah.
not have an ego. Like if you're
Mhm.
accepting it all, like he said, you're so humble, right? How do you stay humble? I know that's a hard thing to ask,
Yeah.
humble person, but how do you not take it all? It just
I just
go
feel
crazy.
like I go off of the philosophy like you sow good seed and you're going to reap good fruit.
Okay.
Mhm.
I feel like ego can be a blinder for a lot of people.
Yes.
And I never want those blinders on me. Like I always want to take the day with some like there's always something new to discover or always something new to
Yeah.
do. You know, new people to meet, new directions to go with your work. And I feel like if I had let any sense of ego hit my brain, I'd be like, I don't need to do anything, right? I
Yeah.
got like a
Yeah.
nice following. I got people buying like my photo book. I got clients. I don't got to do anything, right? I could just chill and
Right.
relax and, you know, and not take advice, you know, like, and really have like a negative connotation if people give me criticism, constructive or, you know, like negative, like, and I like living that way. You know, I love just being able to say that, like, oh, I'm a lifelong learner, you know, like I love the opportunity to wake up and see something that intrigues me and go out and try to achieve it. Or, you know, like meet people online that are asking for advice, you know, or are able to give me advice and just
Yeah.
kind of like create friendships out of that. And I feel like ego can kill that side of things sometimes for people.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. And I've seen it mostly because before here, I used to work in photography aspect as well, but the model aspect.
Oh yeah.
And that's where you see
Oh
like
yeah,
a lot
you
of
see that
egos.
a lot.
And not just from like the models themselves. Because like I get the ego busting since you're like literally the center of attention.
Yeah.
And you think like this is not happening without me. But also the photographers, like they get really big ego. Like, oh no. Like I used to work with some people and they were like, yeah, like, no, this man, he's nothing. Like I'm the one that here. And I'm like,
Oh wow.
and I think like one of the aspects that I think might help you as well is like you said on New York, like once you get into like this type of work business and you go into like the big leads,
Yeah.
you understand that no one really cares.
And there's always a bigger fish.
Yeah.
You know, like if you think you're all that here, take yourself
Yeah.
to a market like Phoenix, Austin, New York, LA,
Yeah.
and you're going to get walked all over, you know, especially with that attitude.
Yeah.
Because people at the top are collaborating, you know, people at the bottom are competing. And if you go into another market trying to compete, oof, you're gonna that big head's gonna get humbled really quick.
And how have you dealt with that? Because I mean, we've talked about how you've been like blocking the noise, the positive, the over positive, as well as the negative that comes from like your family, peers, friends, and stuff. But like, how have you dealt with like that criticism? That it's not necessarily like constructive criticism, but
Yeah.
it's those criticism that is like, I'm bigger than you, like your work's trash, all that stuff. Like, come on, man. Like, you really think you're part of the big leagues? Nah, like, get back to your game. Like, how have you dealt with that type of like feedback?
Yeah. I think at that point, I just let the work speak for itself, right? I've been very like blessed again to get some really cool opportunities out of town, and I felt like if I let myself work to prove that type of negativity wrong, like it'll take me to a direction that I'm not supposed to be. It's very easy for people to say negative things to make themselves feel bigger than they really are.
Yeah.
I've dealt with folks, and I like this philosophy. You don't have to be the biggest building in town by tearing all the other buildings down. You just work your ass off to be the biggest building, right? Like you just keep building. So usually when I have interactions like that, it's a very clear indicator of like, okay, well, I don't want to interact with you.
I'm
And
not
I
gonna
don't
work
want I don't
with
want to
you.
be in your circle. I don't want to work with you. Like you do your thing. We'll see where it takes you. You know, like I hope you plenty of success, like your way. But I just, it's a weird thing. God, the universe, for some reason, like I believe in reaping and sowing, right? You put in good deeds, you're going to get good deeds back, you know? And if you put in bad in this world, I believe you're going to get bad back, you know? Like, I don't necessarily want to see it, but it's one of those coincidences that isn't coincidence anymore. Like, I've seen it happen so much, and I'm like, okay, if that's your attitude, if you want to be, you know, like, act bigger, cool. Like, we'll see where that takes you.
And have you actually gone about it, like being like, you notice someone that has just like no vibes that you want to be associated with, and you're like, I don't want to work with you, and you just walk away?
Yeah, I have before.
Yeah, because I think that's one of the biggest qualities like in artists.
Yeah.
Because like some artists just want to like get as much options as you want, that they stay even on the bad situations. And I'm not sure if you've talked to a lot of artists. I mean, you're the main girl to go with. Like now in El Paso, essentially, you're slowly becoming, which I appreciate.
that.
Like, I'm sure you also have to deal with artists or like people that have like, you're like walking away.
You know, I had this misconception that you had to be the most confident person in the room to be successful. But when you're trying to become one of the big leagues one day, you have to really be humble. Like that is something, and I've texted him that because I'm a weirdo, and I was like, "You're so humble," but it's true because you don't meet that a lot. Like a lot of people, when you're new, like I was new to videography. All these videographers were like, "Oh, you're using that camera, like you're using this," or the models would be like, "Ooh, but you need to look like this." Like there was always so much judgment, and I
Yeah.
just faced it as, "Oh, I just have to be confident." But then you meet like people who are actually successful and they're so humble, and it made me realize I don't have to prove anything. I just have to show up every day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the right people will see it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And the right
Yeah.
people, you're gonna know when the right people is like this guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
All of us.
I believe the right people, like I said, you don't have to like destroy the buildings, but the
No.
right people are gonna build you up because they
Yeah.
know that if they build you up, they're also gonna like come up as well.
Yeah.
Like you want your village to be successful.
Absolutely.
Because what's the point of having just one king who's like all rich, but the nation is poor on flames and stuff? Like
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
there's no point on having that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like an old philosophy either, but I think wanting to hoard all the business and like all the clientele and all the work for oneself, again, like I've seen it like in a lot of, I'm not going to name names. Like I'm not going to
Yeah,
put anybody
we're
on
not
blast,
here.
but
Yeah.
when I was young and I was growing up and I asked certain folks for help, they very much were that. They're like, kick of the boot, like, shut up, you know, like I'm going to do my thing. Like I don't care about
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And I caught that a lot in like older creatives, not all of them, but some older creatives. And the philosophy that I heard from a friend of mine was like, there's enough for everybody to eat, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you don't have to hoard everything. Like you just, you know, like you work and you do good work and that work will come back to you. Like there's enough for everybody. Like we don't need to compete for scraps, you know? And yeah, I think it's the cool thing is I'm seeing now in the city a lot of younger, you know, creatives like Jasmine, you know, that are
you.
you're a go-getter and it's awesome to see.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But you have a very positive mindset behind it. You know, you're not putting anybody down in the process
Yeah, you
of
shouldn't.
you know, growing. And I think that's a beautiful thing that I'm seeing in a lot of creatives now.
Thank you.
Most definitely. And talking about creatives, this is kind of one of the questions that we ask most of the creatives that come and get to like have a seat with us.
Yeah.
What are your like thoughts about the community here in El Paso, creative wise, like nowadays? Like, because back in the days, I'm sure you will agree, back on the 2017 and stuff, it was hard.
It was hard.
To be an artist, to be a creator here in El Paso.
Yeah.
But it slowly has been like actually growing. So what are your thoughts about it now? Or like, where do you want to see it go?
It's a good question. I think, again, being a kid in high school and asking for feedback from people and getting that door shut on you and slowly seeing that door peer open. And now that I feel like I'm in the room,
Yes.
I want to be that advocate for people that are coming up to be like, no, like there's no gatekeeping here. There's no competition here. Like, I'm not going to see you as a threat because like, why do you see people as threats? You know,
Yeah.
like you should just
Yeah.
like,
They're insecure.
yeah, I think that's a microcosm of that.
Yeah.
But I want to champion and I want to see that more. I want to see more collaboration, especially for the people starting out, that I don't want folks to be intimidated in this town. Because again, like end of the day, we're all successful in El Paso. I would say partially by our own doing, but also the fact that we live in a very unique landscape with very unique people and great views. You know, like the city is giving to us as creatives. So I feel like it's our duty to give back in a sense and just harbor a good community and not a toxic one.
Totally. I love your answer. You left me speechless. So I love it.
No, I think El Paso is extremely supportive.
It is.
Yes, there are a lot of people that are going to close the door on you, but there are also plenty of people that will want to support you
Absolutely.
or be a part of your team. You don't have to be the best, but if you get a bunch of people that start believing in your mission or your art, you get excited, you get fueled to continue.
Yeah.
And you'll get better because of that. So, yeah, I agree. El Paso is an amazing community to harbor talent.
It is.
honestly.
Hmm?
Yeah.
It is. And talking about harbor talent, how do you feel about harboring the talent and then the people that want to leave?
Oh,
I think That's a good question.
That's juicy.
It is. It is. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to leave.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a great place to grow your roots and flourish and find yourself. And I think you'll see a lot of El Paso implants in other cities, and they'll be able to take the lessons and the love and the community that they've learned here and replicate that in other places. And I think that's a great thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with thinking that you outgrew a city, especially a city like El Paso, because we are in a unique stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of new, but there's a lot of old still. And that's completely cool. But at a certain point, as a creative, as an artist, a singer, a photographer, videographer, whatever, a chef, you know, you'll see that your options are limited because maybe you've done what you could here. And maybe the next season of your life is somewhere else. But you can at least take the lessons and the trials and tribulations and the blessings that you've gotten from El Paso and translate that elsewhere. I think that's a really cool thing.
But don't tell my mom that. I'll move. I'm just kidding.
No, you cannot move. I'm sorry, Jasmine. Not yet.
I'm staying right here.
You're probably beginning to like create our community. So
No. Why? That was an amazing question, honestly. I don't think people would ask him that. Yeah, that's great.
yeah.
Yeah.
And would you ever leave El
Move?
Paso?
Yes. Good question.
Don't worry, we're not gonna blame you.
I
We
know.
won't tell anybody.
Yes.
Never say never.
Okay.
I'm open to opportunities. Regardless of the fact, though, if I leave, if I stay, I know my end game will always be El Paso. So
That's good.
if I do leave, I know I'll be back.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm really glad, honestly, that even though you're a California kid,
Yeah.
El Paso was blessed to like get you.
I think the city has shaped up me as a person, me as an artist. You know, like I'm an adopted son of the Sun City, you know, and I'm very grateful that it really embraced me the way it did. I wouldn't be here if I was in California. I'll tell you that much, you know.
Well, you never know. We would just have to like travel to a multiverse area where you actually stayed there.
I'll probably be
Yeah.
like an accountant or something, or a
Christian
surfer.
Church's accountant. It's
I
pictures
know.
of his like taxes.
I know.
Well,
His taxes?
yeah, I don't know.
Pictures of taxes?
Legally, I don't know if I
Interesting.
could put up pictures.
Yeah, I don't
Yes.
think I can. Never mind. The joke king.
Well, you don't know on that universe. It
Maybe,
might be
yeah,
legal.
no, you're
Yeah.
right, you're right.
Maybe social media is just full of like people posting about their taxes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes.
It's
Thanks,
all
guys.
hypotheticals, yeah.
Yeah,
we got you.
Thank you.
Yes, no, but honestly, man, I'm really glad that El Paso has you because like you've really done a lot of work, and spotlighting El Paso, like you said, like, I've met people like also outside and they know you, like they know your work because you just and they know El Paso because of you,
Yeah.
and I just think it's beautiful because like I said, I know El Paso isn't like the best city. But like it has a lot of things that I feel people out there should know.
Definitely.
And like I love it when people come in here for like film festivals or stuff and they're just amazed and just fall in love with the community. And I also just funny when every time someone comes, they're always like, I had no idea Mexico was literally that close to you guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, we can just literally play baseball here in the border. But I really want to thank you because you have put that spotlight on El Paso, like for the whole world to see. And yeah,
Thank you. I'm just happy that I was able to be that vessel for the city. Because again, like, there's some great art based in the 50s and 60s. Like, there's a very popular artist named Tom Lee. He did a lot of like war corresponding art, and he retired in El Paso. And I look back at things like that, and you see the beauty that we see today in his art, and it resonated with the country. You know, like people. He was a very decorated artist, and being able to again like just showcase the stories of our borderland to a wider audience and to have people resonate with it, I think that is just a great thing to do. Like I won't take any credit. I think it's the city that's just speaking through, you know, like the camera. I think that's the credit I
He's so
want to give.
humble.
I know. I know. That's something I want to highlight. We were doing an interview with him previously, just a small project, and we invited a bunch of videographers, and he was teaching every videographer. Like, everyone's like, oh, Christian Church has shown me this, and they would come up to me like, this is what he taught me. I'm like, that takes character. It's like, your work showcases the city in the best light because of your talent also, right? But he's willing to share that to so
Yeah.
many people. And that's an El Paso trait for sure, but that's also unique to a creator. So it's like you
It
are
is.
humble, and the fact that you're willing to like tell your secrets to any other person, like, wow, you know?
And I know how your goal is to like be able to create something that to be remembered with, like in the artistic foundation wise. But I believe like what she just mentioned, like I think that's the biggest way that you're actually gonna like live on, because like you
Wow.
even by just like helping like future videographers, photographers like
Yeah.
know their settings, whatever they get to do, like essentially like they're gonna like you're shaping the next artist as well.
Right? We gotta do right in this world and in this
Yeah, you
life.
do.
So, absolutely, as long as I can, I will.
Well, yeah.
Thank you for that. Do you have any more questions?
No, I feel like everything I had was said. So I appreciate your time and you
Absolutely.
swinging on by.
Thank you guys for the invite.
Yeah.
Oh,
Great,
no.
you guys have a great setup here. You guys are doing great work. So.
Thank you very much. Shout out
Thank you
to the
for allowing-
guys behind the scenes and
Oh,
stuff.
for sure. No, they're great guys.
Yeah.
Yes,
Perfect.
Thank you.
They're the best ones.
Thank you for inviting me into your space and letting me be a part of the many stories you're telling. It's super cool.
I know. Thank you for coming and telling your story.
Yeah.
And we really are gonna keep an eye on what you do next.
Same with y'all.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank
guys,
you, guys.
that's all for today. We thank everyone for keeping watching these episodes, and again, thank you very much for giving us your love, your comments, and everything. Guys, make sure to follow Christian Churches. He's amazing. So yeah, make sure to give some love to his page as well. And also, Jasmine, thank you very much for bringing all this talent and for creating the community here in El Paso of artists that it's just bringing us tighter.
I appreciate that. Thank
We
you
really
for
appreciate it.
everything that you do also. Like having a podcast in this city is impressive. So thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. But with that said, guys, thank you very much. Tune in for next week, and we'll see you.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
Minute away from the Coliseum, we get into a car accident.
Get out of